Hello everybody, how are you? So it was asked if I could read a chapter book. So I went and talked to Mrs. Schmidt in the library and she suggested that we read The Rhino in Right Field. See it? Rhino in Right Field. Mrs. Schmidt said it's witty and funny and there are some fun surprises. So let's give it a shot, shall we? All right, here we go. Chapter 1. Everything started on the day I had a close call with Tank. Tank lives 2 blocks away, so I see him almost every day, but he usually ignores me. This is probably for the best, since Tank is a rhinoceros. A 2,580-pound Dekeyser bichnoris with a 17-inch horn, according to the sign on the fence. That fence also happened to be our right field fence, which is how Tank and I got to know each other on a first-name basis. It was my turn to play right field, and I'll admit it, my mind wandered. If you've ever played baseball, you know what it's like, because no one ever hits a ball to right field. Does anybody ever play right field? You get it? Okay. Except, of course, when they do. It doesn't help that I'm a terrible outfielder. To be perfectly honest, I couldn't catch a fly ball to save my life. So there I was, caught flat-footed when Pete walloped the ball. It sailed over my head and landed with a thunk in a pile of hay on the wrong side of the fence. Tank's side. And there was Tank snoozing in the shade of a billboard. Call King's Motors at Hopkins, 5,000 source for genuine packed parts. That's what the billboard said, by the way. Okay. That was our last baseball. Somebody had to get it back. And that somebody was the right fielder. Let me say this right now. The general public does not belong in rhinoceros pens. Ever. The fact is so obvious. Some genius decided that a stone wall topped with a chest-high length fence would be enough of a reminder. Sure, it's enough to keep a stumpy-legged rhino in, but it's useless at keeping a 12-year-old kid out. Because here's another obvious thing. Baseballs do not belong in rhinoceros pens either. What if Tank ate the ball? That would end the game in a hurry, or at least postpone it. The truth always comes out in the end, so to speak. The fellas gave me their usual encouragement. What are you waiting for, Nick? I think he's chicken, that's what I think. Some right fielder you are. What are you scared of, a little old rhino? I dropped my mitt and sized up the situation. Hopped the fence, grabbed the ball, and back to safety. 6 seconds, tops. Or never, depending on the rhino. Or never, depending on the reflexes of a rhino. Yup, he's chicken all right. I took a deep breath, wound myself up, and vaulted the fence, up and over. Attaboy, Nick, I thought. Raced to the hay pile. Hurry up! Grab the ball. That's not the ball. What is it? There's the ball. Snort, run, don't look back, over the top, and out! Exactly 2,580 pounds of muscle crashed into the wall behind me, leaving a tank-shaped dent in the stone. I might be making up the last part, but everything else is true, I swear. I somersaulted on the ground. My heart was pounding. My pants were tore. Something smelled really bad. But I was holding the ball. You did it, said Ace, running out from shortstop. Holy moly, we thought you were a goner, hollered Charlie from the pitcher's mound. Chuck just stood there in left field with his mouth hanging open. Look at you. Here came Pete, swaggering out from home plate with the bat on his shoulder. You might live to finish 6th grade after all. Now grab your mitt and hand over that muddy ball. That was a home run, and it's 4-3, still 2 outs. I stood up, brushed myself off, and flipped the ball to Pete. Not so fast, slugger. You know the rules. Anything hit into the rhino pen is an automatic out. And by the way, that ain't mud. What do you think it is? Poop. Gross. Chapter 2. By now you might have figured out that we play ball in the zoo. That's not as crazy as it sounds. The zoo is part of the city park. In other words, public property. There's not a lot of room with Tank in right field, the buffalo pen along first baseline, and the city streets on the two other sides. We don't usually have enough players for a real game, so we made up our own version and call it Scramble. Because whenever the ball's in play, that's what everybody has to do. Scramble. We played 2 more innings until 5 o'clock whistle blew. First from the brewery on State Street, then a half second later from the factories under the viaduct, one after another. Same time tomorrow, said Pete, and we all nodded. 7th inning, and it's tied at 5, I said, swiping my mitt at Ace. Your turn in right field tomorrow. Yeah. Ace sounded tough, but I caught him shooting a nervous glance towards the Rhino pen. We collected our gear and headed towards home. Once we were all out of the park, Ace and I broke off from the group and started south down 44th Street. It's one of those streets where all the houses look pretty much the same. Brick bungalows, each one with a tiny square of lawn and a big front porch. Elm trees lining both sides of the street, heaving up the sidewalk with their roots. Of course, the houses aren't exactly the same. Right now we were walking past a house with a "Beware of Dog" sign out front. Somewhere inside, something very small yapped to the beat of the band. And there was old Mr. Goldberg waving from his front porch as usual. We passed a couple more houses. Someone had their windows open, even though it was still chilly and I could hear Dick Tracy playing on the radio. At the next house, Ace twitched his nose like a rabbit. Phew! Sauerkraut at Schmitzy's again. How can they eat that stuff? It smells even worse than you do right now. Very funny. Remember, because he fell in rhino poop? Okay. What's the matter with you? He said. And then the light bulb turned on over his head. Are you still worked up about Tank? I kicked at the cracks in the sidewalks. I thought rhinos had bad eyesight. Very bad eyesight. Very good hearing. Who knew? With those tiny ears. Ace grabbed his own ears, which weren't so tiny, and wiggled them. Then he poked me with his mitt. You'd do it all over again if you had to. I know you would. I felt a smile creeping across my face. It was pretty swell, wasn't it? I felt a smile. Swell, Ace said. It was legendary. Did you get a load of Pete's face when you tossed him that brown ball? What a thing of beauty. He deserved it, I said. If I didn't know better, I'd say Pete hit that ball into Tank's yard on purpose. Ace's eyebrows shot up. Nah, you think? He batted lefty, I told him. All of a sudden, he decides he's a switch hitter? He just wanted to hit the ball over the right field fence so that I'd have to go after it. Pete's not that good, said Ace, or that smart. He just got lucky. Maybe. We stepped around a couple of girls playing hopscotch on the sidewalk, but I think he was hoping to get lucky. We were at Ace's house now, and his nose twitched again. Hey, I smell fried burgers. How great is that? Want me to see if there's extra? Nikki, called a voice from next door. My mom. Come wash up now. My stomach rumbled. Maybe next time. Thanks anyways. Ace looked past me and waved. Hiya, Mrs. Ass. He slapped me on the back. See you later, Nikki. And then he darted into his house, letting the screen door slam behind him. I hope you choke on that burger, I hollered after him. I turned, and there was my mother, kneeling on the front lawn with a thin bucket next to her. Ma, what are you doing? Supper, she said. What happened to your pants? Tore 'em, playing ball. Again? She sighed. Then she showed me the bucket, half filled with dark green leaves. They look nice, eh? Your father's favorite. I glanced around and my face burned. Aren't there enough dandelions in the backyard? Not so many, said Ma, standing up and brushing off her apron. What, I embarrass you? Your friend Azy doesn't mind if I pick radicchia? I don't know what that is. R-A-D-I-K-I-A. Radicchia? She nodded towards the house next door and she grinned. I'll pick some from their yard too. Gee whiz, Ma. And anyway, it's Ace, not Azy. That's what I said. Azy. We climbed the porch steps. Why do you want him to choke? That's not a nice thing to tell your best friend. I remember what I'd said to Ace. It was nothing, Ma, just a joke. I pulled the screen door open and she clattered the bucket through. Joke? I thought you said choke. She wrinkled her nose as she squeezed past me. What do I smell? You don't want to know, Ma. What a great story so far. So we'll pause for now and we'll start next chapter. Bye.